So I'm glad that you're joining me today, though, for our Thursday productivity. So today, I am talking about how one notebook changed my workday. Those of you who know me and my notebooks. Many of you have heard me post about the notebooks and how I use them in different ways. And I actually got what I thought was a bit of a silly gift one time because it's more high tech than I need. It's something that's kind of just kitschy, I thought. But my husband is the sweetest guy, and he's always getting me some little tech thing to try out because he's a tech guy. It's what he does, and it's what he understands and loves, so he wants to share these things with me. So a while back on Kickstarter, he actually found me a notebook that you can erase and reuse. And I thought it was sweet that he got the gift for me, but at the time I did not think it was something I would really use. Turns out he was right, and he's got it on video now. He was right and I was wrong because it's called the Rocketbook Everlast. I don't know if you could see this. The Everlast, it's backwards for you right now. But I actually use this every single day now. I started using it just for notes, and I started using it for anything that I wanted to quickly jot down. So if I did classes, a lot of times when I took it, I would take it to a class. I know our library has a lot of technology classes, and I learned how to do video production a little bit, and I used it for that, and that's when I realized what a good tool it was. Today, I plan to talk a little bit more about planning itself and some of the concepts behind planning that make it such a useful tool to be successful in our work days, as well as a little bit specifically about how I use this notebook. So for the next month, we'll actually be talking a bit more about planning and things about bullet journals. We'll talk about some of the apps out there for managing your to-do list and your plans for your life as far as work goes. So this is the first of that series, creating a plan for your workday. So, like I mentioned, I'll put this in a link in the notes, actually, of this video. They have it on Amazon now, so it's not hard to find. But this is by Rocketbook. It's called the Everlast. And one of the features that I love about this notebook is that it is erasable. All you have to do is take a slightly damp sponge and wipe it off. And all the writing comes right off, and it's easy to reuse. The other feature that I love is the text side. So you probably can't see it too well right now. I'll show you a better view in a minute. But it links by the icons on the bottom of the page to all sorts of online sources. So this can send through my smartphone directly to Dropbox, Evernote, my email, and a number of other places that I personally don't use so much, but it's got, I think, like Box and all of those other places that you can send it. So I use it to quickly snap a picture of things like the class notes that I need, or sometimes if I'm trying to keep track of what I've done, I snap the notes for that day and I just send it directly to a Dropbox folder that I've already pre-decided, and it's done. And then I can erase it and it's already been saved for me. So I'm going to try this. For the first time, we're going to try to see if I can do a video of what's on my desk without making you guys feel seasick and without it being backwards. Let me try this. Yeah, thanks Ruth for the like. We're going to see if this works. All right, and it's hard for me to see at this angle a little bit, but I think we can fudge our way through. You'll have to tell me if this is right side around or if it's backwards for you. It looks like it's backwards. And they've got a new feature. Let me see if I can work the new feature. I promise next time this will be a lot easier. I don't think that was it. Okay, I think this is it. You'll have to tell me if it does not look right, but I will assume that this is what we need. So this right here is how I plan my week. And planning is essential for your week because otherwise you end up working on things that are not as important, which that's the sad part is if you spend an entire day, you feel highly productive, but you really got nothing else done that really needed to happen. Oh yes, Ruth, I can get closer. Let's see. I think I can get closer. Possibly that might be as close as I can get for now. And we'll work this out for future ones too. Thank you. So that worked? Good. So by creating the plan, you're working on the things that are actually essential for moving you towards your goals. This is in my notebook. As you know, like my conference notebook, I use tabs for just about everything. So I'm going to go a little bit over what is on my page that helps keep me organized. First off, in my notebook, I have my list. This is my list of some of the different places that I can upload things to with just a quick picture in the app. And then comes my days. I have tabs for each day. And as I need to add a task, I can find which day and where there's an empty spot in that day. It's towards the end of the week, so there are no empty spots left at the moment. But this is generally how my day will look. And if I have some empty spots, like I had right here, it's a great place for me to add in some items that may come up, or it's what I call fire time, which I've talked about before. Then I use times, and I block off the times for each thing I'm doing. And I just keep this permanent listing of times on the side so I don't have to rewrite it every day. And then I have appointments that I have at the evening so I can keep them in mind. On Monday, it was date night with my husband. And then calls and appointments that I need to make are all right here. So when it's time for calls, I can quickly see it. Then this side is just simply notes that support some of the tasks over here. It might be brainstorming. It might be things that I want to make sure to do this week that need to end up on some of these other tabs. It can be all kinds of things. This is my gibberish side. So it is really helpful. Now, those of you who know me, you know that I love my calendar, and I've always been hyper organized with my calendar. And attending events on time and social things, I used to be really bad about how much I would use my calendar. And every minute was blocked off. So I've never had problems with scheduling events times. But I've never been the type of person who wants to schedule my to-do list. I've always been a fly by the seat of my pants type of a person. And about a year ago, I realized how much that was hurting me in business. Because in business, you really need to remain focused on what's most important instead of just doing whatever comes to your mind at the moment, or else you're not going to get towards your goals. And I was finding that I was really holding myself back. I was getting a lot done, but not what was most important on my list. As far as this system, I would guess about a month to 3 months ago is when I really refined this system and used it daily. So I block out my time for the tasks, despite the fact that initially I hated that idea. I hated putting exact times for tasks. But it has been amazing how much that has worked for me. I've gotten so much more done, and I'm able to flip things around. Just because there's something at that time does not mean I can't flip it with another thing, because I do believe in going with your energy and your mood. So sometimes I'll flip things around, and sometimes I'll have 2 tasks for a time, and I'll flip between those 2 tasks depending on my mood and just have both of them finished by that time block. But time blocking was essential for me, so I could be realistic about how long things were taking and make sure that I got the most important things done. The other thing that time blocking helped me with is I realized how much I cannot get done in a day. I am only one person, and things take so much longer than we think, as we've all found out the hard way. So our to-do lists tend to grow instead of shrink. One of the things that I don't know where I heard it, but it's my favorite quote: if it won't fit on a Post-it, it won't fit in your day. So literally, sometimes I have a Post-it where it has the 6 things or less that I can try to complete in my day. And usually even these 6 won't work, but if it won't fit on a Post-it, it really won't fit in your day. And some of these are really quick things too. It's simply being realistic about your time, and time blocking does help. Finally, distractions are the big thing that I also implemented. This right here is my biggest distraction, because even just having it on my desk next to me, even if it was silent, face down, knowing it was there kept making me think every once in a while about, I just should add this to my grocery list real quick. I should check to see if that text was answered. Oh, I should send this text real quick and then be done. So once I started putting this all the way in the other room and silent, it has made a huge difference. If I need to use it back and forth, it goes in my drawer and it is silent. So that way, unless I'm expecting a phone call where I will turn it back on, things can go to voicemail and I will return the call as soon as I have that time slot where I'm checking my voicemails. So that was a big thing. Also in my notebook, you'll see I have times for checking my emails and I have times for reviewing my day to see what went right and what could be adjusted for next time. This is also when I take anything that was not completed this day and I find the spot for it the next day, and I can be realistic about how long it really took and think about whether my estimate was right or if I was way off for the future so I can estimate better. I have a post-it on each day as well, and it just kind of tells me the theme of that day because I'd like to get in one mental mode and stay in it. So whether it's an administrative day like this one is or a creative day, like this was yesterday, and once it's ready to be erased, I put a huge line through it. But this was part of my creative day yesterday. So most of my tasks were very creative, and I was a bit more all over the place because I enjoy being all over the place. I'm not a schedule, regimented, analytical person. So I give myself those times. Then like I mentioned with this notebook, I can just wipe it right off and start fresh for the next week. So on my Fridays, I tend to have a planning day, and I'll start putting things at the end of the day on Friday, putting things in for the next week. And then Monday morning, I finish putting in anything based on being able to separate myself mentally from my work week and come in refreshed. Then I might move some things around and I really get in the mental groove of it. Another thing with this notebook is it has the friction pens. These will work on this notebook or other notebooks. So whether you have this one or not, these are great pens because they are erasable. So you can just simply erase things, and it's just that the friction of that rubber end takes the ink right off. Another great reason for this notebook, a great perk of this notebook. I always have today has a tab, and I have a couple of things for during my off times that are a little bit more fun and light that I can fit in when I need a brain break. I have areas for notes. These are my list for this week, things that I would like to be able to fit in, but they simply don't have a time block. So they probably won't get done this week, but at least I've got them captured so I can let go of that thought. And then I have a number of other tabs based on some projects that I have going on. So my Thursday Facebook Lives, I have all of my creative space to write my ideas for a Facebook Live coming up. I've got some current projects, and then within my current projects, I've got my notes. And then all of these are great because if I'm working on something, at the bottom, all I have to do is make a mark over whichever icon goes with the cloud service that I want to send it to. And that mark right there is going to tell my app, the Rocketbook app, which I'll pull up for you, it's going to tell it where to send it. So let's see. So when I open my Rocketbook app, I can then do a new scan real quick. I just hold it over the page. I'm going to go out of camera sight for a minute. And it'll take the image. Sorry, it's hard to do from this angle. And backwards. I'm terrible at this. And then you can see now in my app, it has some of my notes that I've done, and it has already sent it to whichever service is connected. This one is, I believe, Evernote. So it's already sent it to my Evernote with, I can either change the title or it can just do the general title. Whenever I do my days of the week, I just leave it the general title. If it's a project, then usually I will change the title so that way it's searchable within Dropbox or Evernote, and it's not just the image because the images are not searchable. So those are some of the things I do during my week, and this is my one notebook that, as I said, Jeff, you were right. This is really awesome. It was surprising how much I use this, and this is the one notebook that has changed my workday. It has forced me to plan, and it's given me the creativity to be able to move around within the notebook and within thoughts and ideas and have something that can travel with me and is a little bit more environmentally friendly than all of the paper that I would have been wasting. Because although I'm a paperless person, I'm still a paper person at heart. I do my brainstorming on paper, and it's just how I'm always going to be. So I hope that you found this useful. Like I said, I will post a link to the notebook in the comments below. I absolutely love this. They've got some other products. They've got one that you can microwave to erase the whole thing. They've got one for kids coloring where they can color and erase. They've got a whole bunch of products, but I use the Everlast one. And then I'll also post a link for the pens, which can be used with any notebook. They're erasable with any notebook, but they're specifically required for this notebook. In the future, like I mentioned, for the next month, all of October, we will be talking about various ways to capture your to-dos and to get more done and to be focused and get the right things done. So we'll talk a little bit about bullet journals. We'll talk a little bit about some of the online to-do apps, and we'll just keep talking about some of the concepts each time. I hope that you enjoyed today. Please let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions or if anything occurred to you or was an aha moment or helped you, please let me know in the comments so I know what to give you more of. I look forward to seeing you next Thursday at 11 a.m. This will also be posted on my page right after this. So if you join me a little bit late, like, oh, I just saw a couple people joined, welcome. If you joined a little late, then you can still catch the whole thing in just a couple of minutes back on my page. I'll post it right away. And I hope you have a beautiful week. I love you all. Be productive and go be what you're meant to be. I love you. Bye.